Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thanks to all of our witnesses here today. Ms. Robinson, I want to follow up by trying to understand your answer to one of Senator Cruz's questions, and this is really a question, not a suggestion. Do I understand your position to be that there are two sexes, but there can be more than two genders?
I wouldn't even say two, and we've got Dr. Lopez here as well, but there's also the definition of intersex. I think that often in these conversations we're conflating sex and gender, and I do want to affirm here that trans women are women. That is their gender.
Okay, but I'm trying to understand. Do you make a distinction between sex and gender?
Yes, sir.
Okay, explain that. Just, do you think there are more than two sexes?
I believe that there's a definition for intersex as well that I want to acknowledge. But sex is assigned at birth.
Three? I'm just trying to understand. I'm thoroughly confused. So you're born, I'm talking about biology, male, female, and what else?
I believe that intersex is also acknowledged.
Intersex.
But again, I'm not a doctor here. What I can
And
say
what does intersex mean?
is that there's a difference between sex and gender. And I think in these conversations, we're conflating the two.
Well, but I want to start with sex, okay? There's male, there's female. When a baby's born, before the baby has had time to even have a sense of self, there's male, female, and intersex. There's a third sex.
I believe that is true, but I would defer to Dr. Lopez as I'm not a physician.
Okay. And how many genders are there?
I think the gender is expansive, and the definitions are always growing. Today I can tell you,
More
I talk
than
to young
five?
people
More
that
than-
talk about non-binary as
More than five?
I think the gender is not a binary, is what I'm trying
But
to say.
are there more than five genders? I'm just trying to understand. Are there more than five genders?
Well, I mean, I think that there was a time where women wearing pants didn't feel like it was appropriate for their gender, and yet I'm wearing pants today.
If
I
you
think
could
that there are
just
ways
answer
that
my
we
question.
express our
Are there
gender
more
that
than
are
five
expansive.
genders? Are there more than five?
I wouldn't subject myself to naming how many genders there are, but what I can say is
there
that
an
gender is a
infinite number?
reflection. Excuse me?
There's an infinite number of genders?
I think depending on your culture, there are a lot of different genders that exist. And I can also say that it's a term that's evolving. If you look at young people today, they really don't lean into the binary of only woman and man. So I think that it's incumbent upon us not to legislate on this, but create space for them to explore what their identities are, what their gender identities are.
Let's get back to athletics. I think I understand what you're saying. There are three sexes, male, female, and intersex.
I believe that to be true, but again, I'm not a physician.
And
so
there are an infinite number of genders because gender is a mental state.
Gender is about expression, and I think that there are a variety of ways that you can express your gender.
Okay, so there's infinite number. All right, let's go back to the biology. Male, female, boy, girl. Okay, biologically, do males have an advantage over females biologically in sports?
Again, I'm not a physician, and I can't speak to that.
What's your real world experience?
It depends. I mean, there are some people who are born male that I'm faster than if I were to sprint against them, and some that I'm not. Some males
So
that
you
are
don't
taller than
believe
some
that-
women,
you
and
don't
some that are
believe
shorter.
that a biological male has a physical advantage in sports over a biological female?
Not as a definitive statement.
Give me an example. Well, no, I don't think. How many female members of the NBA do you see?
Well, I can say that, there's been this news article about men that think that they could beat Serena Williams in tennis, right? That they think that they could actually score a point on her. And it's just not the case. She is stronger than
James,
that.
what's your experience, Ben? Male, female.
Both Serena and Venus lost to the 203rd ranked male tennis player, which they're phenoms for women. My experience, my husband, he swam at University of Kentucky as well. In terms of accolades and in terms of national ranking, I was a much better swimmer than him. He could kick my butt any day of the week without trying.
Okay. I just think, Ms. Robinson, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. I think you lose a lot of credibility when you don't concede that a biological male has physical advantages over a biological female. I mean, I just think that's a proven fact, and you really hurt your credibility. I understand you want the world to be a better place. I do too, and I don't think people ought to be discriminated against because of an immutable characteristic. I don't. And I think that I think everybody ought to be free to be themselves. And what you do in your bedroom or what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult is nobody's business. But if what I do in my bedroom with a consenting adult, if I decide I want to tell somebody's child about it, then other people have rights too. And I think parents have rights. And I think biological females have rights to be able to compete fairly in sport, in sports. So I really think you hurt your credibility when you refuse to acknowledge that biological males have an advantage over biological females. It kind of makes me wonder about all your testimony. Thank you, Mr.
Senator
Chairman.
Kennedy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that there is not a definitive advantage in all cases. Sir, I don't know if you believe that you could beat Serena Williams in tennis, but I probably think that that's not the case. There are not all cases where all men are physically superior to all women. And at the end of the day, in this conversation, we're not talking about that. We're talking about trans women who are, in fact, women, who deserve to play in a gender that matches their sports, who deserve all the benefits that Ms. Gaines is talking about. And as a cisgender black woman, I can say definitively that my womanhood is not threatened by a transgender person asserting hers as well.
Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I thank all of the persons who are testifying today. For Ms. Robinson, do you know what
God, I need the full video. I just need the full video. Anyway, this is, wow, this is serious. You know, I'm used to watching Charlie Kirk video and seeing college student debates, you know, Charlie Kirk. But this is a different ball game entirely. This is coming from Senator John Kennedy. And I love his approach towards, like, whatever you bring forward to him. He's a brilliant man, you see. He does his research. So he don't just come out and ask you any random question. He want to go in depth, you know. If he's confused in an aspect, he wants you to explain further. You see, he said it's not against what you do in your bedroom, but when you come out outside, it's a different ball game entirely. You understand? Because whatever you do outside, everyone have rights to give their own opinion. In your bedroom, it's your business. You understand? I've seen women that are strong, you know, when it comes to competing with men, they are good. You know, when I was still in my secondary school days, I was playing, you know, I was into running, and I ran with one lady, and, you know, I was surprised because, like, she was fit. She was, like, we were both competing who would win the race. I thought, like, yeah, this girl is good. That is it. It's just one person compared to every other lady out there. So I'm not going to feel like because this lady is strong enough, I have to start competing with all the ladies, because I know I will surely overpower majority of them. You understand? So it's better for that lady to be where she is and compete with her fellow gender, because this is me. Other guys can do better than her. You see? But it's better for her to compete with her gender and be the best in that field, instead of her feeling like, yes, since she have been able to compete with me and she almost won me, then she has to start competing with men. You understand? There are people that can run way more than me, that can do other things way more than me, that even if she's the best in the lady part of, you know, running, she might not even stand the guys. And that is what Senator Kennedy is saying. He's saying, if you're a man, do your things with the men. If you're a woman, do your things with the ladies. You understand? Because you are now depriving ladies of the win. You know, when you are a trans woman, let's say you're a man and you're transforming to a woman, you want to compete with women, you are depriving them of even, like, you are kind of discouraging them from competing, because now they are no longer competing with their fellow female, they are competing with a male that decides to be a woman. Now you are making the task difficult for them. So I would prefer everyone should, when it comes to sports, be in the gender you were born with, you understand, and play there. If you want to be a trans, they should just give them a separate sport, you understand, so that we have trans men turning into women competing with themselves, you understand. It's way better than depriving the women of their opportunity, you understand. This is beautiful. I love this. I love the calmness of everyone who gave their opinion. Like, it's really, really matured. And I love the fact that Senator Kennedy asked the question I would have loved to ask, you understand? And I wish this lady would have thrown more light. You see, you believe in an ideology, so you're supposed to answer some questions, especially when he was asking how many gender are there. Are they up to 5? I was expecting her to, like this, mention some. If you feel there are so many gender, like, then mention, okay? I think that would have helped Senator Kennedy more. But you keeping quiet, saying you are not specialized in that field, shows that what you're advocating for, you don't know anything about it. So, like, be proud of it. Mention as many as possible if you believe in what you are, or you believe in what you stand for. This is a beautiful one. I love this, and I want to see more videos like this. If you have any recommendation, let me know in the comment section. If it is your first time visiting the channel, click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching, and remember this.